Hey guys, what's up? Absolutely Beast bringing you guys some new information today on Forza 7. So, this is a background race on Forza 6. This is using a Volvo. I cannot remember the name of it. I would guess it's an S60 race variation, but this was sort of a longer race that I did. And then the second race is one with the Formula E, which is an electric car. And honestly, it was right there with my least favorite races I've ever done on this game. I can't say that it was the worst. I'm sure there were some worse ones. The F100 was terrible. The Hummer was terrible. And some of the lower cars, like the earlier Mini Coopers and stuff, were not very good. But the Formula E one I had to try twice, and it wasn't. The only reason it was bad was because I had the difficulty set to a high level, and I couldn't tell when to shift. I mean, I've got a pretty expensive headset, and that's how I shift, is by the sound, and I literally could not hear the sound of it shifting. So hopefully the static is not too bad from the mic, which, by the way, I have gotten a new adapter and new cabling and all that, and there's still some static, so I'm chalking it up to, I think it's something with the studio here on the actual Xbox. But anyway, so they released a new list of cars today for Forza 7. So last week they released a list, as you guys know. If you haven't seen my video about that, check that one out. They confirmed 167 cars. There's also a link. I believe I posted the link in the description, I think. That was my first time doing that, so yeah, anyway. So they released another list today. So they're basically going to be doing this every week, as far as I understand, and they're going to be releasing a list of some cars. So this week the list is quite a bit smaller. It's 60 cars, and honestly, without any hesitation and without sounding like a tool or something, I really could care less about any of these cars because they're all classic cars. And I think classic cars look cool, I guess, and sometimes they're cool, but I mean, I am not the person that likes classic cars. I mean, they're very unsophisticated, and they don't do it for me. I don't know what it is about it. They just don't do it for me. So anyway, that being said, I'm still going to bring some enthusiasm because this is talking about Forza 7, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to go down the list here. Since there's only 60, I'll probably read them all, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But so starting off, we have the Abarth, 1968 Abarth 595, which is I believe that's a Fiat, or maybe Fiat named the Abarth after that. I'm not 100% sure on that. 1934 Alfa Romeo P3, the 1950 Alfa Romeo 158. And they always say, if you guys watch Top Gear at all, the old group, Jeremy, James, and Richard, they used to say that you're not a true petrol head, or you're not a true car guy until you've owned an Alfa Romeo, which they don't. I mean, only just now have they started bringing Alfa Romeos back to the United States. So a lot of us here in the U.S. Have never even seen an Alfa Romeo out in the wild. A lot of people don't even know what Alfa Romeo is, to be honest. So I find that interesting. But so 1965 Alfa Romeo, Giulia Sprint GTA Stradale. There's a Giulia TZ2. The Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale is coming back, which is a car in Forza Motorsport 6 that actually holds a lot of leaderboard times. And I wish I could remember, because I heard it the other day. I wish I could remember what what was said about that, but that was actually a car that was incredibly legendary in its time, as far as horsepower and acceleration, all that kind of stuff. The 1939 Auto Union Type D. I actually have a video with that car from maybe a week or two ago. I couldn't tell you which video it is, honestly, because it was mashed up with some other ones. But that's one of the first cars. That's like a predecessor to Audi. Was the Auto Union. It was something in Germany. It was a couple different car companies that came together. The BMW 507 from 1959. The 1957 BMW Isetta 300 Export. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it was the one that they exported out of Germany. But anyway, 1953 Corvette, which I know as a Corvette lover, I do love Corvettes, but again, those early Corvettes, even really up until like the C, I guess it would be the C3, right? Which would be like the one in the 80s and the 70s. Like up until that point, I can't stand the look of them, you know? Honestly, the old Corvettes I think look like hell, personally. I mean, without mincing words here. Chevrolet Bel Air, 1957, which I drove in a video just yesterday, I believe. A big old like sedan type car. Actually, if you've seen the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, I believe in that opening sequence, the guy driving the cab is driving a Bel Air, I think. So that's kind of cool. 1960 Corvette, 64 Impala, Super Sport with a 409 in it. That's a big old engine. 1966 Nova Super Sport. That's a great car. It's like a wagon type car. They actually on the show Home Improvement, they had Tim Allen restored one of those, which was really sick. And then he ended up dropping a steel beam on it. Spoiler alert. A year later, but you've got the 67 Chevelle Super Sport 396. That's epic. A 67 Corvette Stingray with a 427. That's epic. A 69 Camaro Super Sport Coupe. I mean, I don't know how they could make a game without that car in it. I mean, that car's become a complete legend. The 69 Nova Super Sport with a 396 in it. That's pretty cool. 69 Datsun 2000 Roadster. A little small little guy. 67 Dodge Coronet. 68 Dodge Dart Hemi. Super stock. 69 Charger Daytona Hemi, which is cool. That's obviously become a really popular car too in that green color. Special edition. The 69 Charger RT, which I actually remember from Need for Speed Carbon, which was a fun game. That was one of the boss's cars you got to take. Was that old guy? Fiat Dino 2.4 Coupe from 69, a 52 Fiat 8V Supersonic. 1932 Ford Deluxe 5-window coupe. That sounds epic. I love stuff from the 30s and all that early stuff. Like, that stuff is just so cool. And you know, to have that kind of car in there, that sounds so cool. A 1940 Ford Deluxe Coupe, a 46 Ford Super Deluxe station wagon. That is going to be... Man, I'll probably have to drive that just to see what that's like. 64 Fairlane Thunderbolt from Ford, Mustang GT from 1965, 67 Falcon, 69 Mustang Boss 302. Again, that's sort of a lock. You know, I can't imagine any car game without that. 67 Honda RA 300. That's a cool car. I believe that's a Formula or an open wheel type car. 1959 Jaguar MK2 3.8, another Jaguar from 61 E-Type, 56 Jaguar D-Type, 54 Jaguar XK, 1945 Jeep Willys. Oh, that's going to be awesome. For those of you that don't know, Jeep got their start, you know, Wranglers and all that stuff. Jeep got their start making vehicles during World War II, which is really cool. So a lot of those earlier cars were very like, you know, they were just Jeeps. And they weren't like a consumer car. A Lancia Fulvia. Lancia is sort of a famous car brand. How about a 1939 Mercedes-Benz W series, a 54 Mercedes-Benz 300, 55 300 SLR, 67 Mercedes 280, 1949 Mercury Coupe, which is pretty sick. 65 Mini Cooper S, again. You know, as far as like car enthusiasts go and games and stuff like that, there can't be a game without Mini Cooper S. You've got a 69 Nissan Fairlady Z, a 432, which is crazy. 1966 Nissan Silvia. You know, so a lot of these are sort of like the old heritage, like JDM cars. You know, everybody, of course, loves the Skylines. Everybody loves the, you know, 350Zs and all those type of cars. But, you know, they had a 240 SX. These all had a lineage going all the way back to, you know, much earlier time. 1969 Oldsmobile, Olds 442, which is a kind of a legendary muscle car also. Not as well known as, you know, obviously like a Camaro or Charger or something like that, but still. 68 Opel GT. That's sort of a, you know, it's just sort of a unique one. 58 Plymouth Fury. Not sure what that looks like. 65 Pontiac GTO. Of course, again, that staple in all car games. I mean, that's the first muscle car I ever knew about. I mean, obviously I knew about Mustangs and stuff, but as far as like the classic ones, the GTO was the first one I ever knew about, and I saw it in that movie Triple X. which came out with Vin Diesel in early to mid 2000s, I want to say. Yeah, see, here's this thing right here, and I mean, I don't know if you guys can even hear it necessarily. I mean, if you're not using headphones or something, or you don't have your volume turned on, I mean, I don't even know if you'd be able to hear this thing really. It's really hard for me to tell because, like, I mean, I can hear the sound obviously, but by the way, in these race type cars, the fact that you get to see the open wheels like that is really impresses me how much the wheels move and just over every little part of the track. But anyway, it was just hard for me to know when to shift because the engine really doesn't wind up very well. So anyway, I don't know. It was just a really rough one. But yeah, that movie with that Vin Diesel called Triple X, they had his GTO in there, and it was absolutely so sick. So that's how I learned about those. A '69 Firebird Trans Am, legendary car. 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge, which was a special edition GTO they made, which was really cool. 65 Shelby Cobra, a 427, which is ridiculous. That's sort of where the whole, I would almost call that a hypercar in its own right, only because, you know, basically what he did was what Carroll Shelby did, founder of Shelby, was he took the smallest car possible, which was a British car, I don't remember the name of it, so forgive me, but he took one of the smallest cars he could possibly find, and he crammed the biggest engine he could find in there, and that thing was just an absolute monster, and obviously a legend. The 65 Shelby Daytona Coupe, the Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe. And then you have a couple of Volkswagens here, which, you know, for those of you guys that don't know, Volkswagen is making a return to Forza Motorsport. I can't say whether they've been in the last Horizon games or not. I don't know. I haven't played them, but it has been absent from Forza Motorsport at least for a little bit. So that they're making a comeback. So you have the well, that's, I mean, I have seen the Beetle in Forza Motorsport 6, but I'm not sure if there's other Volkswagen. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to say one way or the other on that. I take that back. I'm sorry. I've heard other people say that, but I'm not about that. I'm not gonna say that if I don't know 100% for sure. So anyway, basically just forget the last 30 seconds of just crap that I said. So 1963 Volkswagen Beetle, which, I mean, one of the most legendary cars of all time. And, you know, to think that that thing was designed when Adolf Hitler was in charge, and, you know, it was basically the people's car, which, you know, that's what Volkswagen means. But to think that that was sort of like the economy type car that they were thinking everybody in Germany was going to be driving. You got a 63 Volkswagen Type 2 Deluxe, no idea what that is or what that looks like. And then 67 Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. Have heard of that for sure. Can't tell you what it looks like or what kind of car it is. And then the last one on the list is a 1967 Volvo 123 GT, which no idea what that looks like. So, I mean, I'm just really excited. You know, it's getting close, guys. We're only, you know, 8 weeks away. I know for some people that's a long time, but, you know, when you know, time goes. The older you get, the faster time goes. And, you know, while I'm not like 50 or something, it's just, you know, time does go by quickly. So 8 weeks is just, I mean, that's right around the corner, bruh. It's right around the corner. So I'm starting to get pumped for it. Trying to decide what I want to do actually on that opening day. You know, I mean, obviously there's going to be, as if the usual for the last few years is any indication, then there'll be some sort of like race with the Porsche GT2, just to sort of start things off as like a demo, and then, you know, you get to check out from there and see what happens. But I'm not really sure what I want to do. I'm not sure if I want to hop into the career and play a couple races. I mean, that seems like the right thing to do, because I don't really want to, you know, there'd be no reason to hop online. I don't even own any cars or anything yet, so I don't know. It's been a while since we've had a Forza game come out. It's been a couple years, so I'm Forza Motorsport at least, so I'm getting super excited. And I've been having a lot of fun. I actually race, I haven't been racing too much recently, but I sat down today and I knocked out a bunch of the factory spec races. I knocked out all 8 of those, and those were like, 15 to 20 minute races. So I raced for a couple hours and just, man, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Loved every minute of it. And I have a couple of those videos recorded that I'll put up at some point, which are cool. They're about 15 minutes and they're a little longer, but those were super epic. So just getting pumped. Let me know what you guys think about those cars down in the comments. I know there's probably a lot of you that like classic cars, so let me know what you think. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being here and watching my video. If you like my content and you like my stuff, make sure you subscribe. I've been trying to put up anytime something comes out, I've been trying to put it up, and I've been trying to find stuff in between. So thank you guys for checking it out. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Catch you next time. One take. Woo!